the shows I've been watching lately because I finally came across some good ones and I have to share them with you. But first, you know the drill. You know the deal. We gotta do some channel maintenance, some channel hygiene, channels are Tamagotchi. So, if you're new here, welcome to my nonsense. If you're old here, welcome back. Oh jeez. If you're new here, please consider hitting subscribe. And if you're old here, go double check, make sure you're subscribed, hit the like. If you like, leave a comment. It could be anything related to the video. It could just be a hello, a few emojis, whatever, as long as it's cool and respectful. Hit the notification bell. As always, I link my tip jars down yonder in the description box. No pressure whatsoever, but every dollar or two helps. That is what allows me to continue to make content. Also, you are invited to my Patreon. I know not everybody can come, but you can't say you weren't invited. The link to my Patreon is down below. If you want extra content but you don't want to leave this platform, you can join YouTube memberships by clicking join below or going to my channel page and clicking the join button. That is content that is exclusive to YouTube members. Alright, the kids are playing outside. And I'm still going to continue to record because, you know, I can't cancel all my plans because kids are playing outside. So, it feels like fall now, and I love that for them. I'm going to take a walk after I film this and enjoy some of it myself. So the first show I want to talk about is called The Great. The Great is on Hulu, but I watch it through Disney Plus. And it is, the overview says, it's a genre-bending anti-historical ride through 18th century Russia following the wildly comedic rise of Catherine the Nothing to Catherine the Great. And the cast is Elle Fanning is Catherine, Nicholas Hoult is Peter, Phoebe Fox is Muriel, Charity Weekend Georgina, Sebastian de Souza is Leo, Adam Godley is the Archbishop, so kind of a known cast there. It's got 8.1 IMDb, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, 8.1 out of 10 on Prime Video. It is excellent, and I didn't know much about Catherine the Great, admittedly, but per this rendition, Catherine is she's coming from a family that is low on funds. She's from Germany, and so they're gonna marry her off to an emperor of Russia, and she has all these images in her head that she's going to get married and she's going to have true love, and she's so excited to meet this guy, Nicholas Hoult, Peter. So they throw her in they pack her some suitcases and they throw her in a carriage to go marry Peter, and she arrives. And she's just standing there, her arms are crossed, she's just waiting, and here comes Peter. And so they get the first, visuals of each other. This is before internet, this is before, I think it was like the time of paintings, I believe. They would have had to share paintings. So he comes and looks at her. He's like, okay. And he, walks around her. And he's like, okay, I thought she'd be taller. And he, walks off. And she starts to get a little flushed and kind of sad, and then he starts laughing. He's like, aha, gotcha. He thinks he's so funny. So it is kind of a comedy, but don't get it twisted. It gets dark. he wants, and she doesn't know him well enough to be jealous, but she starts to get, what am I doing here? What is the point of this? And she gets very homesick. She wants to go home, and I think she kind of relays that. She tries some things, but she ends up kind of relaying it like, I'm just homesick. And he's like, well, too bad. You're not going anywhere. Your dad needed money. That's why he sent you off to marry me, and we've already given him the money, so you're not going anywhere. And he's like, at least I don't hit you. Okay, trigger warning. He's like, at least I don't hit you. But then he does. Like, he just gut punches her. And that, like, I was like, oh my, I was not expecting that. Like, it gets dark, but that was like, oh my god. He kind of gets to a point where he wants her to be happy a little bit, so he tells her she can go do what she wants to. He's like, I don't know, like, what you heard, but this is what we do. Like, we're royalty, and you need to find yourself a little lover. So that opens up the door, but of course, he's the one that assigns her a lover. But he's not bad. Like, she thinks he's attractive, but she doesn't want to force these, like, oh, okay, so you're just supposed to, like, what he does, but she actually forms a connection with him before they get carried away on their end. So there is a bit of romance, but it's not with the marriage, it's with a side piece. I'm gonna leave it there because that's a lot. That doesn't really spoil a lot for you, but I think it spoils enough for you that if you're into this kind of what goes on, like Lives of the Rich and Famous, but back then I think you would like that. Okay, now the next show that I've been watching. Now, I'm not gonna lie, with this one, I take notes, and I'm not gonna bring my notes over for this because I think I'm gonna do like a deep dive into this, and I don't know what platform I'm gonna put it on, but it is on Apple TV, and it's called Lady in the Lake. Lady in the Lake, yeah, it's not The Lady in the Lake, it's just Lady in the Lake. This came out in 2024. The Great, it's a couple years old, and there's already 3 seasons to watch out. This one, there's 1 season, 2024. So, the overview is when the disappearance of a young girl grips the city of Baltimore on Thanksgiving 1966, the lives of 2 women, Maddie Schwartz and Cleo Sherwood, converge on a fatal collision course. It's got 6 out of 10 IMDb, 75 Rotten Tomatoes, so not quite as good as The Great, but I'm loving it. I think that, and I was recommending this show to my sister-in-law. She's like, I tried it, but there's too much going on. So I think that might be some of the reasons for the low ratings. But like I said, I'm actually taking notes to keep all these moving parts straight in my head. And I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm enjoying it. So for the cast, we've got Moses Ingram as Cleo Sherwood. Moses Ingram, first of all, she's beautiful, but her voice, the way she talks, I just want her to start a channel. I just want her to start a channel. I have a little bit of, I just ate a pumpkin sheet cake, and I can feel that it's like, it got on me. Yes, I just want her to just start a channel or narrate a book or something. Like, her voice is, Mikey Madison is, she's the landlord's daughter. It's weird because, okay, there's Natalie Portman, she's way down on the list, but Moses Ingram and Natalie Portman are the main characters. David Corn Sweat, Yolan Noel. Oh, he's from Insecure. I think he's on Insecure. Natalie Portman is the other main character. She plays Maddie Schwartz. Josiah Cross, Noah Jupe is the little boy, and I think he's the little boy from He's in a Quiet Place. He really looked like the little boy from something else that I watched, but anyway, that's her son. He's not a little boy anymore. He's Maddie Schwartz's teenage son. So it's about, we've night crew, the boss, that she can do more. She's like, you know, screw it. This lady's never gonna put me on full time. I need to make more money here. And he's like, okay, well, sounds good. And so he gets her involved with like a couple of his other guys. Well, she gets sent off. She gets sent off to go drop some money off with another person. And that person is supposed to go kill somebody. But they're all whacked out on, I don't know what people did back in the 60s, but they're all whacked out, and they force Cleo to go with them. So now she's in hot water because she was with them when some crazy went down. Meanwhile, Maddie's over here, and how these meet, I don't even know how I'm gonna get to how they meet without spoiling anything, but anyway, Maddie's over here. She goes to go find one of her like jeweler friends, a friend of the family. She's like, remember you said you had an apartment for rent? He's like, yeah, for who? She's like, for me. He's like, for you. But then he kind of gets it, like, oh, you and your husband. Okay. So his daughter, who's played by Mikey Madison, he gives her the keys. He's like, go take her out to go to view this apartment. She's like, cool. So she grabs the keys to the new apartment and the car keys. Or no, Maddie's driving, and they get in the car. But Maddie's like, pull over here. She just gets this weird feeling. She's like, pull over here. And they get out of the car, and somehow Maddie knew where to look for that body of that missing girl. I'll stop there, but these parts do cross over at some point, and you get like little fleeting moments of it, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you kind of do have to keep a lot of stuff together, and I do that by writing the notes. And then finally, the third show that I'm watching right now is the Ed Gein, the monster version of Ed Gein on Netflix. Now, I watched the Jeffrey Dahmer one, and I watched the, no, I did not watch the Menendez brothers, so this is the second one that I'm watching. And Ed Gein is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy, except he's from Wisconsin. He's not from Texas, but he's the inspiration for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy. And apparently, this is 1960s as well. He ends up, he's not quite right. They portray him as not quite right from the beginning, but he's kind of obsessed with his mom. His mom is extra religious. He goes and gets in an argument with his brother, like kind of right off the bat, and hurts his brother. And then it's just him and his mom keeps just feeding him this religious, like, kind of women are bad, women are all, you know, hoes and stuff. But he's got a little girlfriend on the side, and she's fascinated with like NAZI weird experiments, and anyway, she is heavily influencing him as well. But he goes on his murderous rampages with both of these, mom, girlfriend, and his own psychosis. Now, I do not necessarily like how they did this, how they portrayed his like schizophrenia, maybe. I think they said it's schizophrenia with the voices. I feel like that took away from the show, even though yes, he heard voices. I don't know, I'm not really grooving with it as much as like the Jeffrey Dahmer. You were really just watching like what he did, and this one has that almost, it's not paranormal, but it feels like a paranormal element, you know. I don't know, I'm not sure on that one yet, but yeah, so those are the three shows